Just like that, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association, in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight.
If the WNBA roughed up CaitlinClark every night, the fans would clap like it was halftime at a middle school game, the league believed. Oh no, a plot twist. Fans are not only upset that Clark was body-checked as it was Game 7 of the NHL Finals, but they are also boycotting the game as if it were Black Friday and the officials had stolen their coupons. Despite the league's desire for rough play, there is currently a full-court protest. Who knew that teasing your MVP ticket sales was the first step towards equality? So, get ready as we dive straight into the story.
It was just announced that CaitlinClark will be out a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad injury. Could this injury have been prevented? Can the Indiana Fever win without her? And what does this mean for the WNBA?
The WNBA believed that it would have a quiet, drama-free season. That's very cute, because CaitlinClark's team decided it had other plans just when everything appeared to be going smoothly, with ratings skyrocketing, jerseys flying off the shelves, and every Fever game being treated like a Taylor Swift concert. She is currently seated, while the WNBA is silently worrying behind closed doors and acting as though everything is fine. Fans are acting as though the Earth has fallen out of orbit. That isn't the case. 2 weeks. Clark had been sitting out for that long due to a strained quadriceps. Not a tear or a break, but enough to completely change the league storyline. Her thigh essentially requested paid time off. As the WNBA tries to maintain the attention, the focal point of the Fever's franchise is currently sitting on the bench. Oh, how subtly the reactions have been received. If you mean a complete public meltdown by subtle.
Get in the back. We know CaitlinClark was lost yesterday to an injury for at least 2 weeks. Now, the thing about it is they're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks. And of course, man, these teams, I told you earlier, these WNBA franchises that moved games like the Chicago Sky to the, United Arena, you're screwed. You're done. You're cooked. Nobody is going to show up to this thing. Chicago Sky can't sell out their own 9,000-something seat arena like it is. They couldn't when they were kind of decent.
Fans of Clark, who are known as the most ardent advocates of merchandise on Twitter since Michael Jordan, are already putting on tearful walkouts. A slight injury has been transformed into a revolution by them. Until Clark comes back, I will stop watching. Without her, this league wouldn't be worth it. Don't support the WNBA. These individuals are behaving as though the league took their puppy and personally slapped their grandmother. Every other player, meanwhile, is out there saying, "Hey, we exist too." In response, the internet says, "Not now, sweetie."
Oh my God, guys, breaking news. CaitlinClark is hurt. I didn't believe it when I saw it myself. She's injured. She has a quad injury, a left quad injury. It's a quadriceps strain. And the team announced today, about 2 hours ago, she's going to be out 2 weeks at the minimum. 2 weeks. Without CaitlinClark, this team is finished.
And Indiana. They're learning all of a sudden what life is like without their golden goose. The CaitlinClark program is no longer airing. Now, Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell are using hustle and duct tape to try to keep the entire team together. Mitchell is acting as though she has 3 lungs. Boston is recovering as if she were battling ghosts. Additionally, Coach Stephanie White is revising game plans as if she were competing in the Hunger Games. However, the Fever might manage to survive. Why? Because the teams facing them in the upcoming games have been approximately as intimidating as lukewarm soup. I don't mean to offend Chicago Sky. All right, a slight offense.
If it's the latter, it could mean that CaitlinClark could potentially miss the rest of the season. This 2-week timetable that people are running with, that's just when CaitlinClark is going to be reevaluated. As of now, she will be reevaluated on June 9th. That does not mean, and it's highly unlikely, that June 9th or shortly thereafter is when CaitlinClark is cleared to return.
Let's be honest, though. The scoreboard, highlight clips, or even the actual basketball aren't the most interesting aspects of the WNBA. It's witnessing the league attempt to act as though it's still a party after CaitlinClark, the life of the party, was benched. Clark wasn't only mentioned as MVP prior to her injury. The topic of conversation was her. Although others attempted to portray her as a long shot and just competent for a rookie, that would be equivalent to claiming Beyoncé is suitable for a singer. Please. Caitlin wasn't merely posting figures. Like a one-woman rescue effort, she was bringing a whole franchise back into the spotlight. She had the fans yelling the sellouts, the celebrity shoutouts, the ratings, and the nosebleeds donning glitter glue-made jerseys. She brought more than simply exhilaration. The WNBA's algorithm was restarted by her alone. We're talking record-breaking vistas, arenas that unexpectedly recalled what it's like to be packed, and merchandise that sells out more quickly than Taylor Swift tickets. The Queen is now momentarily off the board, and everyone is acting as though the league wasn't merely circling her gravitational pull 5 minutes ago, as if this MVP race were suddenly open. Adorable.
There's no way every team's going to come at them and try to take them out, especially without Caitlin. They're going to lose some games here, and that's going to set them back. It's really hard to believe this, but yeah, she's out. There's no other details. When did this happen? Could have happened in this game. We're not sure. Most likely at a practice yesterday. She's out for 2 weeks, man.
The Fever, meanwhile, are quietly working things out back in Indiana, and they might end up better off as a result. Because the squad is stepping up when Clark isn't doing literally everything. And when she comes back rested, sharpened, and completely exhausted after all the commotion, fasten your seatbelt. Suppose that after 2 weeks of quad rehab, Clark stormed back onto the court, drained threes from the parking lot, and silenced any skeptics who attempted to dismiss her. That is an encore, not merely a comeback. The actual jerk is right here. The Fever will be a major issue if they can make it through this stretch, maintain their competitiveness, and perhaps even pull off a few sly victories. Because you're looking at a possible playoff spoiler with more momentum than a goods train now that Mitchell is fired up, Boston is confident, and Clark is healthy. Thus, while CaitlinClark is temporarily sidelined, the WNBA continues to operate. Perhaps more loudly than before, since all of the storylines are now cooking simultaneously. Rising stars, conspiracy theories, fan feuds, MVP controversy, and Clark's eventual comeback tour.
WNBA news. CaitlinClark is out for a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad strain, and our next question is, what does this mean for the Fever? So CC is going to be missing the Second Sky rematch since playing them the first weekend of the season, which is definitely a bummer, but on the bright side, this injury doesn't seem too bad. It's just some quad tightness. But fear not, Fever fans. We talked to Caitlin earlier this month, and she doesn't seem too worried about the depth of this roster.
So I think our depth is probably what I would worry about the most. You know, if somebody doesn't have it one night, you're just going to the next person on the bench and the next person, and you know, we're going to have to be able to find a way to use that to the best of our ability.
Caitlin seems like she has faith in her team, but we will see how this squad performs on the court without their number one player.
Here's a reality check for all the basketball lovers who are boycotting the league until their basketball messiah comes back. Watching the WNBA without Caitlin is like tuning in after the main act has departed the stage. Although the league is full of talented players, without her, the drama is at best lukewarm, the energy is flat, and the sparks are lacking. Feel free to tweet indignantly from your beanbag with a Clark theme. The WNBA is surviving rather than changing, and basketball won't be the only activity when she returns. We've all been waiting for this show. We are currently in this strange contradiction where no one is watching, even if the games are running more smoothly. No more arguments about whether it was a hard foul or an attempt at exorcism, and no more viral fouls. The conversation has subsided since Clark is no longer subjected to body checks every 5 minutes. And since controversy sells, that's precisely what the WNBA is most afraid of. Despite the league's best efforts to promote basketball brilliance, the numbers increased when Caitlin was struck in the jaw rather than when someone made a backdoor cut straight out of a textbook. The news didn't blow up when Enrique Ambal released 30. When Clark was severely fouled and someone tweeted, "Assault," they erupted. Chaos has been giving the WNBA free publicity. They are anxiously examining the stat sheets as if they were their credit card statement now that their chaos engine has been benched. Oh, and let's not even talk about the merchandisers. Pallets of CaitlinClark jerseys are sitting there in a warehouse somewhere, like, "Hey, remember us?" As soon as she hobbled off the court, sales slowed. The accountants are sweating as if they had just made a 2024 investment in Beanie Babies. The WNBA's equivalent of an eclipse would be a 12-game CaitlinClark break. Short, infrequent, and extremely inconvenient for ticket sellers.
Just as I started talking about CaitlinClark being in the MVP race, it is announced that she suffered a left quad injury and she is going to miss at least 2 weeks. And this is such a bummer because the Fever were off to a great start this season. CaitlinClark was playing out of her mind. She had already broken some records in the first 3 games, and now she's going to be sidelined for 2 weeks. We'll see how the team will hold up without her. Obviously, she's the primary ball handler, playmaker, and shot maker. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can sustain and just hold even at 500 or better, and she can get back and keep them in playoff contention.
And now, like babies who have been given the incorrect Happy Meal toy, fans are acting out what fans do best, throwing temper tantrums. "She should have gone to Europe" cries fill entire comment sections. That's the sensible way to avoid getting wounded, of course. Gather your belongings and leave the continent. It appears that dunking on Lithuanian 19-year-olds for $5,000 a week speeds up the healing of the quadriceps muscle. Brilliant. However, let's discuss this. She ought to have visited Europe. First off, since oligarchs don't care about salary limitations, the pay is frequently higher elsewhere. Second, it's true that basketball fans in Europe treat their queens like kings and queens. Clark, however, didn't join the WNBA to feel at ease.